The questions remain the same in each of these interviews. The power lies in hearing these amazing answers. My name is Tony Reese, and it is with a great privilege and honor I present to you this installment of My Life Lessons Showcasing Senior Adults. Hi there, and welcome to My Life Lessons Showcasing Senior Adults. And today our guest is Dr. John Robertson. Welcome to the project, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. I was raised on a farm in Erie County, a native Pennsylvanian. I was the oldest in my family. I had two younger sisters. And that's all I did. That's about all I did till I was 25.
And then what happened?
Well, then I left the farm and, I had gotten married when I was 21.
Oh, okay.
I left the farm and started school.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll get into that in this project. Okay.
Yes, we will.
So, John, how would you define a great life?
I think a great life is having a job, starting from when you're looking for work. Have a great life as a child with your parents. I think a great life is having a job that you really enjoy 90% of the time. You don't get any heartburn or high blood pressure from your job. You have a goal set or goals. You have eventually get married, have a family. They have goals. You got to keep yourself healthy during your life, both mentally and physically, and still have your goals. Even when you get old, you have goals. I think everybody wants to be successful. You have to have faith and hope.
Faith and hope. I like that. Hope is my favorite word. How has being here at the Highlands added to that definition of a great life?
Well, it's helped. My wife, I've had two wives, both dead. My second wife and I were married 7 years. We lived in Fleetwood, and I had retired. She was retired. And we got thinking about what we were going to do when we moved into the Highlands. I think it was a great move. She's dead now. I'm alone. We have friends here. We're going to be taken care of till the day we die, and our kids don't have to. My children don't have to worry about what's going to happen to me or how they're going to handle it. So it was a great move. And I enjoy being here. I have a lot of friends and there's a lot of things to do here if you want to do them.
So, John, who were your heroes or role models when you were a child?
Well, when I was a child, it was my mother and father. And I would consider childhood up to about 14. My mother was a tall, handsome German, and she taught us a lot of stuff that we didn't learn in school. One of them was religion. My dad was a successful farmer, hard worker. They loved each other. They set a good example. And my other role model was the veterinary that used to take care of my dad's animals.
Really? Why so?
Well, he was, in spite of the people around here that love cats and dogs on the farm, they were expendable. I mean, they got hit on the highway or died. We never treated a sick cat or a sick dog, but the valuable animals on the farm were the horses and the cows. And some of the things the vets do were pretty impressive to a kid on the farm. And he always, I always tagged along when they came down to treat the animals. I tagged along and watched what they did. He tried to explain what it was doing. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You have a cow laying there flat, just had a calf, can't get up. That's because they have a calcium deficiency. He pulls out a big long needle, sticks it in her vein, and puts a jug of fluid into her. 15 minutes later, she gets up. That's impressive to a kid.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I always thought I want to be was a vet. And then I changed my mind.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what do you think would surprise people the most about you?
I was thinking about that. When I was 25, I still worked on a farm, but I had gotten a job on a railroad, which was a pretty good job back in 1950. I started as a laborer, and I quit my job and started to college, 1953.
Wow. My goodness.
I was married and had one child.
That's pretty impressive.
Most people don't know that.
So what would be your greatest life lesson?
Learning how to deal with people, learning to love. Well, love is part of it, and you're supposed to love your neighbor. And I was raised with a bunch of ethnic people, Germans, Slovaks, Italians. I went to school with their kids. Most of those kids were the first generation that spoke English. My mother had a lot of friends in the church from the Slovaks. She was a Roman Catholic, so most of them were Catholics. And we didn't have any African Americans or any other ethnic group. But so, in a way, we were kind of prejudiced. I mean, being on a farm, you didn't get out much and see people. My great life lesson was when I started to the University of Pittsburgh. That you see everybody, Chinese, blacks, you're all thrown in there together. You all have the same problem. You're all trying to get ahead. And I think a great lesson in his life is just learning how to deal with people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when you were going through that and learning, you were isolated on the farm, and then you went to college, and it was,
Bam.
my goodness,
You're thrown into this.
Right, to a melting pot, so to
Yeah.
speak, yes?
And
So how did you put that into practice, that life lesson, learning how to deal with people?
Well, that's a lifelong job.
Mm-hmm.
Life can be rough, but I learned that no matter how people act to you or what they say, there's always a good part to the people. You just got to find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was my life lesson. Love a neighbor. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of a love thy neighbor thing. Mm-hmm. Even though your neighbor might be the guy that cuts you off when you're driving, I mean, still got to give the guy credit. He's a human. The other thing I learned that no matter the color of the skin or what the person looks like, whether it's Chinese or about a 16th of an inch underneath, we're all alike. We all have a heart, a brain. It's all the same. We're all pretty much the same, just the personality. You just got to get to know people.
Did that impact the work that you did then? What type of work did you do?
I was a family practice physician.
Okay.
It helped me a lot.
How so?
You got to understand where they're coming from. And once you get to understand it, it helps you treat the patient. It may not always before you get to understand them, they get upset when you go someplace else. But at least I worked on it.
My goodness. So what does love mean to you, John?
Well, love is a very complicated human emotion. The animals do not have love, only the humans, human species. It's a very, in my mind, a very complicated relationship between people, and it varies in degrees. A man and wife can love each other. You love your family. You're supposed to love your neighbor. There are different kinds of love, but I think you have to work on it. It's a better place to live if people try to love each other and at least give the benefit of the doubt. Whatever happens, at least give the other person. It's a very complicated thing, love.
So one of the ways that you define it is that I've heard you say that there needs to be more understanding.
Yeah.
There needs to be empathy, and that the world would be a better place.
Give the guy a break. Give
Give
the
him a
other
break.
person a break. I mean, they got the same problems I do. They breathe, heartbeats. They're human.
You mentioned earlier in this interview that faith and hope are very important to you. Do they play a role in the definition of love for you?
Yep.
How so?
Well, God says you're supposed to love your neighbor. You're supposed to love God. Actually, you're supposed to love yourself. And I think that's part of faith. And I think we all have hope that it will work. It doesn't always work. Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel about it.
How do you want to be remembered, John?
I thought about that. I want to be remembered as a good father and grandfather. Actually, I have 24 members of my family. And the other thing is I want to be known as a good physician.
Thank you. Thank you so much for showing up for this project and sharing just a bit of your story with us.
You're welcome.